Audiobook Fallen, Fallen is Babylon the Great by Matthias Klein. Part 15. This audiobook may be copied and shared freely.
At the end of 40 days they returned from spying out the land, and they came to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran, at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, "We came to the land to which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. The land through which we have gone to spy it out is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great height."
Numbers 13:25 to 29 and 32. Only 2 of the 12 spies had faith in God being with them, and one of them said,
"Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it."
Numbers 13:30. We face the same situation today. Some look at the enemies of Jesus Christ gathered all over the world and say that we cannot be victorious over them. Then they expect God to snatch the Christians out of the world and afterwards pour out all his wrath on those giant enemies, have Jesus come back in person and conquer the enemies. But how will the world be overcome?
For everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith.
1 John 5:4. We have looked at many prophecies so far in this book that promise a marvelous time to come, where the knowledge of God covers the earth like the waters cover the sea. Back then, when the Israelites were promised Canaan, the knowledge of God was pictured as a land flowing with milk and honey. The promises are all fulfilled in Jesus Christ, and by faith, we must carry on and follow the promised roadmap ending in Madrid. The driver will not be taken out 7 kilometers before Madrid, but God will be with him and guide him even though traffic might be much worse than in the countryside. The teaching that Christians will be raptured out of this world before the wrath of God is poured out flatly contradicts the very words of Jesus Christ and the teaching of wisdom. Let us go to Jesus and see whether he wants his followers to be taken out or not. He prays to his Father,
"I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one."
John 17:15. This prayer is very remarkable because it is very uncommon for someone to mention what he does not pray for. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance. Otherwise, Jesus would not have said it in this context. Jesus Christ says very directly that he does not pray for Christians to be taken out of the world. And why not? Because wisdom teaches the very opposite of who will be removed.
"For the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it."
Proverbs 2:21 to 22. It is just the other way around. The wicked will be removed, not the righteous. And why is that? Jesus Christ will reverse the power structure on earth. The wicked will lose their power and the righteous will take over.
"The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous."
Proverbs 14:19. In the 20th chapter of Revelation we read,
"Then I saw thrones, and seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. Also, I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received its mark on their foreheads or their hands. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years.
or Revelation 24. The vision that Christians will be taken out of the world before God pours out his wrath also ignores the purpose of the judgment. As we have looked at multiple times, the judgment of scoffers at the first gathering will aid the conversion of others. Allow me to repeat this important principle because it is much ignored in large segments of Christendom.
My soul yearns for you in the night. My spirit within me earnestly seeks you. For when your judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world learn righteousness. If favor is shown to the wicked, he does not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness, he deals corruptly, and does not see the majesty of the Lord.
Isaiah 26:9-10. And wisdom teaches likewise.
When a scoffer is punished, the simple becomes wise. When a wise man is instructed, he gains knowledge.
Proverbs 21:11. This false interpretation of Revelation, that Christians will be taken out before the battle and have nothing to do with the coming battle, was introduced in the 19th century. It made thousands or millions blind to the promises of the fall of Babylon and our role in it. Babylon has confused the interpretation of Revelation. And how will the confusion be done away with? Wisdom will remove it. The hailstones we read about will destroy all the confusion, and the truth will be preached in the most prominent places. The fall of Babylon will be global, brutal, and completely reshape the world. The corruption caused by the love of money has reached the political ends of the earth. All kinds of disguises for corruption have been added over the centuries. False arguments about all aspects of life, like religion, politics, and the economy, have been introduced inside and outside of Christianity. The time has come to reveal the disguises and replace confusion with the knowledge of God. Wisdom, reason, love, humility, and righteousness will then replace lies, deception, pride, greed, lust, ambition, and luxurious living while others starve. God has given Babylon time to fill up the measure of her guilt. He has allowed Babylon to live out her full variety of confusion. Because of all her different ways of deception, the scheme has emerged that, in the end, it is all about the love of money. Some people get rich, exalt themselves, and live in luxury, while others suffer, and lies concerning God are spread. There has long been the interpretation that Babylon is the Catholic Church of Rome. Millions of deaths are attributed to the popery, as the Catholic Church used to be called as well. She has been a murderous system for many centuries. She murdered, tortured, and persecuted millions of people. Dear reader, if you doubt the truth of the murderous character of the Catholic Church, take the time to Google how many people were tortured and killed by her. You will be amazed to see the estimates go up to many millions. As an example of her murderous character, look up the history of the Waldenses, and you will see that many waves of persecution went over these poor Waldenses because they refused to participate in the idolatrous worship of the Catholic Church and to follow her heretical doctrine. Jesus told everybody how to identify false teachers.
Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus you will recognize them by their fruits.
Matthew 7:15-20. To consider the Catholic Church as the true Church of Jesus Christ, you must completely ignore this warning of Jesus Christ and the history of the Catholic Church. If Jesus Christ says that by their fruits you will know them, and over 1 million people murdered are not enough, I guess nothing will convince you. What does Jesus mean by bad fruit if 1 million people killed are not enough? What is bad if 1 million people killed is not bad enough? Dear reader, if you are Catholic, read about those evil fruits, read about the history of the Waldenses, and then leave this evil Church of Rome as soon as you can before you are completely blinded and cannot even be convinced by over 1 million human beings being killed. The Catholic Church has also brought deep spiritual darkness over Europe and is still confusing the minds and hearts of many people all over the world. The Reformation has exposed her lies and wickedness and has freed large portions of people held captive by her. The Catholic Church was not overthrown completely, however, and as we know, she is still around. She certainly belongs to Babylon and represents a main district, but she is neither the root of Babylon nor all of Babylon. The proof for that statement are the demonic thoughts of the sixth bowl that have deceived nations and peoples just like the popery in the last 2 centuries. Nowadays, communism and the U.S. system have more impact on governments than the Catholic Church. Communism has also killed millions of people directly, while capitalism has let millions of people starve to death, although it was in its power to help. This is written about Babylon the Great.
And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all who have been slain on earth.
Revelation 18:24. Therefore, communism belongs to Babylon as much as the Catholic Church belongs to Babylon, because both have shed the blood of millions and confused the minds of governments and people. Babylon has been around for thousands of years, and many powerful false arguments under the disguise of non-Christian religions, Christian religions, and ideologies have covered up the love of money. Even though Babylon has come up with multiple cover-ups, she will not escape her global judgment. Even though she has been able to build up her dominion over the centuries, many powerful lies, God will destroy them all with the truth. Because Babylon is a root cause for so many political, cultural, economic, and religious aspects of this world, her fall is compared to an earthquake, one so severe that its magnitude has never been experienced before. There have been revolutions and changes in the existence of nations and continents, but this fall will have an impact that we have never seen before. The Greek word megas is used more often in the verses we have just looked at than in any other passage of the Bible relative to its length. The word megas means great. In Germany, people like to use the word mega, which is derived from it. In verse 17, we have a great voice. In verse 18, the word great is even used twice for the earthquake. In verse 19, the word megas is used twice again for the great city of Babylon. Finally, in verse 21, we have the word used twice for the hail coming down. Overall, whenever Babylon is talked about, the word great comes into play. Greatness is part of Babylon's appeal. However, even though Babylon thinks she will always be great, her greatness will be brought down in a great way by God, who is, of course, much greater than Babylon. God is the greatest. Let us recap and emphasize that we are talking about the fall of earthly greatness, which is compared to a great earthquake, the like of which we have never seen. One of the means of destruction is great hail. We will face great changes in thoughts, hearts, and teachings among people of all nations all over the world. Massive revolutions in the unseen world are ahead. Let us compare the impact of the Reformation to the coming fall of Babylon. The Reformation changed many nations in Europe with respect to religion, politics, and the economy. The fall of Babylon, however, will affect everyone worldwide, and it will be much greater and for good. God will make an end of Babylon the Great forever. She will never be able to corrupt the governments again and make the nations drunk. Again, let us not forget that the promise of God is that the knowledge of Him will cover the earth like the waters cover the sea. When considering the current state of godlessness, there must be great spiritual revolutions in between. And since the fall will not take long, as we will see later, we are heading towards unprecedented global changes, the likes of which the world has never seen. It is a process where the object that is supposed to be removed is first allowed to become bigger, and when it has reached its climax, it is removed.
Before destruction, a man's heart is haughty.
Proverbs 18:12. It looks like Babylon the Great has reached its climax right at our time, when the dominance of riches is so apparent all over the world. Dear reader, since we have seen the sixth bowl being poured out, We have entered this extreme time of change for judgment and a coming world of righteousness. While the corona epidemic stopped the busy life of megacities like New York and the war in Ukraine, climate change and inflation are changing our lives right now. The biggest change is about to happen. In the next chapters of Revelation, we get more insight into Babylon and how she will be brought down, and we will see what impact the destruction will have. Prophecy of Revelation 17.
Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk." And he carried me away in the Spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, "Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman, and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and is about to rise from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will marvel to see the beast, because it was, and is not, and is to come." This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen, one is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour, together with the beast. These are of one mind and hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to me, "The waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire, for God has put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over their royal power to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth."
Revelation 17:1-18. Here we have a lot to unpack. To make sense of major aspects, let us come back to the promise of wisdom, that by the instructions of wisdom we will be able to understand the riddles and words of the wise.
The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance. to understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise, and their riddles.
Proverbs 1:1-6. In the prophecy of Revelation chapter 17, the mystery of Babylon is shown to us. Much of the unraveling explanation is about the beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns that carries the woman who represents Babylon.
This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while.
Revelation 17:9-10. To understand the image of the beast with the woman, we need wisdom. But how do we obtain wisdom? Solomon says,
My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures.
Proverbs 2:1-4. Short recap of how to obtain wisdom. Make your ear attentive to wisdom. Incline your heart to understanding. Call out for insight and understanding. Seek it like silver and search for it like for hidden treasures. Therefore, let us again call on God to give us wisdom, because there is only one source of wisdom, the blessed Lord and God. Please, God of heaven and earth, give us insight, give us understanding. The first step to get wisdom is taken by asking the Lord God Almighty. The next step is to make our ears attentive to wisdom and to incline our hearts to understanding. But what is wisdom? We can use computer intelligence and only match words from this prophecy with other passages of the Bible. But wisdom is more than words. Words have meaning, and wisdom is made up of meaningful instructions and not just words. Wisdom leads to the knowledge of God concerning who He is, what He does, and why He does it. There are some within Christianity who tell you that taking the Bible literally is wisdom. This is partly true, but this has been overdone. The Bible cannot be taken literally all the way because wisdom is more than words. The following instruction of wisdom shows this beautifully.
Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes.
Proverbs 26:4-5. You cannot obey this insight literally because it literally contradicts itself. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, and answer a fool according to his folly. It takes the wisdom of God to understand and obey this instruction. God's wisdom is all throughout the Bible and in a concentrated form in the book of Proverbs. In Proverbs, you have a formula comparable to one which students use in physics. In physics, a formula contains the laws of nature that always apply. You can look at them one by one or collect all which are applicable to a situation in real life. When you look at how a car drives, you have different laws of nature present: the law of friction, kinetic energy, inertia, etc. The same is true with Proverbs. You can also look at them one by one or collect all which apply to a certain prophecy or to wisdom for a situation in life. To decode the mystery of the woman sitting on the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, we will look into this book of formulas of godly wisdom and collect the instructions needed. Some of my dear readers have never looked at interpretations of Revelation and the chapter we have just read. They will not be challenged by what they have read before. Others have read interpretations of this chapter, and they might be hesitant to accept any other thought than what they believe to be true. To them, I direct the question: was godly wisdom the base of the interpretation, or rather, the tradition of your church or seminary? While it is good to be taught by preachers and teachers, we should always keep the attitude of the people in Berea in mind. They listened to one of the best teachers the world has ever had, the Apostle Paul. But they did not just take everything at face value. Instead, they checked it out with the Scriptures.
Now these Jews were more noble than those in Thessalonica. They received the word with all eagerness, examining the Scriptures daily to see if these things were so.
Acts 17:11. When considering Babylon the Great, we come to a core enemy of God that has brought immeasurable misery to mankind over the centuries. Therefore, it is truly worth double-checking whatever we hold true. Let us challenge whatever we have heard about Babylon with the wisdom of God. I do not ask you to forget whatever you have learned about Babylon, because it might be true, but I do ask you to dig deep into your interpretation and check out whether the wisdom of God is the foundation of the arguments of teachers and preachers you have heard. Most probably, the foundation of the arguments of the preachers and teachers you have heard was the Bible. However, there is a difference between referring to verses that give a supposed precedent or that contain a matching word and referring to an instruction of wisdom. So let us start the road trip to reveal the mystery of this woman and the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carry her.